Have you ever noticed the loudest people in Tudor England usually lost their heads? The ones shouting in court, the ones bragging about their power, the ones convinced they were untouchable. Gone, one by one. But today's gentleman, he barely raised his voice. He simply waited, patiently, quietly, like a spider in the corner of the room while everyone else argued over who owned the web. Stephen Gardiner did not need to swing the axe. He just had to survive long enough to decide whose neck belonged beneath it. If Thomas Cromwell was a hurricane, Gardiner was frost. You did not always notice him until everything around you was dead. Henry VIII had plenty of clever advisers. Thomas Wolsey dazzled the court. Thomas Cromwell reinvented England. Thomas More challenged a king. Stephen Gardiner? He outlived nearly all of them, not because he was lucky, because he understood something everyone else kept forgetting. Kings change. Politics change. Religions change. Never let anyone know exactly what you are thinking. That is how you stay alive. Gardiner was brilliant, a lawyer, bishop, diplomat, a man who could quote scripture before breakfast and destroy your political career before supper. He was not flashy. He was not charming. He certainly was not lovable. But if Henry VIII needed someone intelligent, someone loyal, someone who understood power, Stephen Gardiner was usually standing nearby, watching, listening, remembering, always remembering. Henry VIII trusted very few men. Gardiner became one of them. He negotiated with foreign kings. He defended Henry's policies. He helped navigate England through one political earthquake after another. Yet, unlike Cromwell, Gardiner never tried to become the star of the show. He preferred sitting just behind the curtain, where nobody noticed who was pulling the ropes. Lord Thorn once tried that approach during a village election. Unfortunately, someone spotted him moving the ballot box. Gardiner was considerably better at subtlety. Now, here is where things become deliciously complicated. People love neat little labels. Catholic, Protestant, conservative, reformer. Stephen Gardiner refused to fit neatly into any of them. Did he support Henry breaking from Rome? Yes. Did he want England becoming thoroughly Protestant? Absolutely not. Gardiner believed Henry should lead the church, while keeping many traditional Catholic beliefs. Simple enough. Except everyone else wanted something completely different. Trying to satisfy both sides of Tudor religion was rather like trying to pet two angry cats facing each other. Eventually, someone gets scratched. And suddenly, England belonged to a little boy, Edward VI, 9 years old, which meant the adults immediately started fighting. Again. Only this time, the Protestants had control, and Stephen Gardiner suddenly found himself standing on the wrong side of power. It is amazing how quickly yesterday's trusted advisor becomes today's political inconvenience. Gardiner objected, politely, Firmly, repeatedly. The government responded with the Tudor equivalent of, "We appreciate your opinion. Please enjoy prison." Into the Tower of London he went. For years. Imagine surviving Henry VIII only to be imprisoned by his son. That must have felt particularly unfair, especially considering Henry had imprisoned almost everyone else first. Here is what separates Gardiner from so many Tudor politicians. He did not panic. He did not launch a rebellion. He did not write angry pamphlets. He waited. These years passed. Kings changed. Governments shifted. Fortunes turned. Gardiner remained alive. Sometimes history rewards action. Sometimes history rewards patience. Then came 1553. Edward VI died. Lady Jane Grey briefly wore England's most uncomfortable crown, and suddenly Mary Tudor marched toward London. Stephen Gardiner walked out of prison, straight back into power. Imagine the expressions on everyone's faces. Yesterday's prisoner, today's Lord Chancellor. Tudor politics really was the world's most dangerous revolving door. Mary trusted him completely. Gardiner became one of the most powerful men in England. And he remembered every slight, every enemy, every humiliation, every person who had celebrated his downfall. Some people forgive. Some people forget. Gardiner kept receipts. And under Queen Mary, quite a few people discovered exactly how long his memory really was. Was Gardiner cruel? Sometimes. Brilliant? Without question. Patient? Painfully so. He was not the loudest voice in the Tudor court. He did not need to be, because while everyone else was busy making speeches, Gardiner was making plans. The Tudors often rewarded ambition, but they rewarded survival even more. Gardiner mastered survival, and that made him one of the most dangerous men who ever served the Tudor crown. Next time we meet, my darlings, do you think one stolen kiss cannot destroy a queen? Think again. Next time, we are diving into one of the most scandalous romances in Tudor history. A handsome courtier, a teenage queen, secret meetings, late-night whispers, jealous rivals, and one relationship that sent Catherine Howard straight to the executioner's block. But here's the question historians are still arguing about. Was Thomas Culpeper really Catherine Howard's lover? Or was he set up by enemies who needed someone to blame? Either way, before this story is over, someone is going to lose a head. And trust me, this scandal is far juicier than you have been led to believe. Now, my darlings, until next time, remember to keep your crown straight and your head attached.